Good afternoon. This is Smart News Liberia. My name is Orlando Testimonies Zionga, and I'm here with the publisher, Mr. Smart Zion of the Smart News Liberia. We are in conversation with a strong voice in Liberia, the Bishop Kortu K, former president of the Liberia Council of Churches. And we're here basically to talk about the pro-left law that reports been circulating about that as we speak at the legislature there is a law, there's an act that should be passed into law concerning induced abortion. U.S. Congressman Chris Smith flagged it quite recently and he spoke against it loudly. He said the future of Liberia, that's how he puts it, the children of Liberia on attack, and he's calling on the legislature to act appropriately. In his statement recently released, he's saying that money is changing hands, and in fact, some clergy members are even receiving money so that they could advocate for such law that will legalize abortion. You are a voice, you are a senior clergyman in Liberia. What do you know about this? Money changing hands among clergymen?
I'm unaware. I am not aware. But I can say to you that we are deeply concerned about attempts, by people to want to amend or revise, the existing laws on abortion in Liberia. I know there is in 1976 public health law that speaks to several health issues and the whole question of abortion. Then you've had these suggestions recently about proposals for for abortion to be on demand for anywhere between 4 to 6 months. That a baby can be killed or aborted. The religious community, I believe, I think we're united on our position on this. I don't think that's the way to go, for who we are as Liberians. We're religious people, we are African people, we are people who believe in the right to life, we think that making any law that some suggestions proposed will exterminate between 40 to 50,000 Liberian children every year, I think will be a disservice to this country. I don't think that is the law that our lawmakers, should be pushing, right now in Liberia. So I'm not aware of money, changing hands. I'm not aware of religious leaders, taking money, but what I know is that religious leaders, we have a consensus on the fact that Liberia, should not pass any law that will make abortion legal between 4 to 6 months, as some people are suggesting, and sometimes there are suggestions that will infer that the religious leaders says so. Religious leaders, it's a normal part of this.
You have consensus, religious leaders, you're working together, and you're saying that you don't want this law. But then looking at the trend of the legislature, our lawmakers, looking at the laws they made before, many of those laws not been favorable to the citizens, to the country. So what do you intend to do as religious leaders?
We're raising our voice. We're saying to our lawmakers, don't let anybody, make you to give a license to your children to kill your grandchildren. Because what we see, unfortunately, if this law was to pass, it's like giving a license to our children to kill our grandchildren.
And license to kill?
Yeah, license to kill. The license to our children to kill our grandchildren. and the lawmakers should wise up. You should wise up. Don't give a license to your children to kill your grandchildren. We need our grandchildren in Liberia, and the religious community. I think we believe that if, for example, if abortion was to be allowed for any reason, it would be for what? Health reasons, for incest, for rape, for the disability of festus or something. But just to say that you can demand abortion at any time.
Induce abortion.
Induce abortion. To demand abortion at any time. No. I don't think that a religious community is up for that, and that's why we are making these calls. That's why we are making these rounds. That's why we are speaking out to Liberian people. Liberia respects life. We are religious people. We are godly people. We honor life. We believe that we should continue to do that. We should not encourage the killing of children in the name of trying to protect those same children. And I think we are mistaken.
Okay, so like I said initially, the lawmakers have a trend of making bad laws. Let me not sugarcoat this. So besides you working together, besides you raising your voice, do you intend, if the legislature intends to pass this law, do you intend to do other things like sitting in, protesting?
That's a breach. Right now we are appealing to our lawmakers. Don't give a license for the killing of your grandchildren. Don't give a license for the depopulation of Liberia.
If they do,
we think they will listen to us. We are the religious leaders, and they should listen. When something arises, in this country, many years ago, I think it was 1978, there was a debate in this time about the gambling bill, and the religious leaders rose up and stood up, to the bill, and the government considered. In 1978, just 3 years ago, there was this debate about a national referendum on the changing of the tenure of the president, as well as president and lawmakers. And the religious leaders rose up and stood up against it, that we didn't feel that there were, sufficient public education, on amending that portion of the Constitution, and that it wasn't the way to go about it. And in the end, the Liberian people, took our side, took our advice, and it was voted against. So again, we're speaking to this, to this bill. This bill suggests that, that Liberia should allow abortion up to the 14th week. In fact, the previously I heard was between 18 and 24 weeks. It's over about 6 months. You want to kill a 6-month-old baby on demand? On demand. On demand. So I think that our lawmakers, should listen to us. I don't know whether the House of Representatives have passed this bill, but I know the bill is in the Senate, and I believe that the President I want to appeal to, Senator Abache. He's a Catholic. Appeal to the many other lawmakers, the majority of whom are church people, that is not the way for Liberia to go. We should not pass the law here that we're going to license for the killing of our young babies in Liberia.
That is not the way to go. We should not pass a law here that will bring blessing to the children of our babies. Yeah. Bishop Brown, a big name, a household name in Liberia and the Warrior Alliance. How engaged are you with the rest of the Christian community since this movement?
I'm very engaged. We're sharing information. Every day, there are meetings going on. One of the advantages we have right now is this internet that makes it easy to be able to engage. So we are very engaged. We are sharing information. We are reaching out to lawmakers. We're trying to help all of us to understand where we are. There are lawmakers that we know are opposed to the passage of this bill. There are others who are on the fence. And what we are doing is to continue the engagement, among ourselves first, and then, with the lawmakers, and even during this medium that we're using now, to appeal to our lawmakers. Listen, we got a lot more serious thing in this country, to talk about than just trying to, pass a law that, we just create more problem, for Liberia, create more social problems, for medical problems, for us. I think we should not go that way. So we are very engaged. I know that a lot of pastors are concerned about all of this. Muslims who are concerned about the Muslim leaders who are concerned. Yes, very well, very well. And people are engaged on different levels. People are sharing information. I know a lot of people engage me every day on this issue and what we are doing. And that's why we're raising our voice. We're raising our voice. The religious community is saying no. The religious community is saying let us not grant ourselves a license to kill our babies. That would not be a good thing. Let's maintain our pro-life stance. Let's except in the case of a real threat or an emergency or otherwise. I think this is where we should be for the people who we are. Don't forget, we will not heard it. We will not heard the results in 4 of the 2022 National Population Census. But in 2008, the census results was like about 97 or 98% of this country was religious, Christian Muslims, 98. And to govern the people, you must know who they are. You must know who they are. And where we are religious people. And we have 3 concerns about the new abortion law that is being proposed to be passed by the legislature. And we think that it's not appropriate. It's not timely. We don't think that that's the way to go.
You are engaged, you spoke well that you've engaged locally with other members of the religious community in Liberia. Now, induced abortion. It's more a Western thing. Now, a Westerner is speaking out against that. Do you intend to engage with him?
Listen, we've always had our own ideas about what we want and what we think should be done. We appreciate other friends who have interest in Liberia and they want also this issue to be addressed. But first and foremost, this is a Liberian problem. This is a Liberian issue. And we are addressing it as a Liberian issue. All the other, efforts are complementary. We appreciate them, but this is about our country. This is about our people. This is about the future of this country. So we're addressing it, and we are encouraging, and we are thanking other people for coming along with us, for accompanying us on this. But meanwhile, this is our issue. And we want to address it, ourselves.
This is our issue. We want to address it ourselves. Bishop Brown, paint a picture. If that law was passed, what will happen to Liberia? What will it do?
There are many estimates. And I spoke with someone last week, and the person suggested that. But we don't have the law, and the abortions are going on. And I said, yeah, well, we understand that. But if you get a license, if you now make it legal for people to do it, people suggest that you could have anywhere between 40,000 to 50,000 children, being aborted every year.
And what would that do to
that will affect Liberia. Let's say right here in our Manana Union Basin, there's an estimate that we have about 52 million people. Only about 10% are Liberians. And even that 10%, from our recent census, it's 55.2 million. So if the Manana region, that's Ivory Coast, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, is 52 million, we get 10%. Then we want to start exercise where we start establishing ourselves. When we should be, advancing, then we establish ourselves. No, I think that would be, it would have an adverse effect, on our population, on our young people, on families. It will create more medical problems. It could lead to loss of lives, unwarranted loss of life. Because now abortion will be legal. It will be legal, it will be on demand. And you can imagine how many female lives could be lost in the process. Because when you say that if abortion can be acquired on demand, it doesn't mean that all the facilities are improved immediately. No. That's why it means that the facilities are improved immediately, and so you can go to have a safe abortion. I don't think there's so it's a real risk. It's a real risk. Yeah.
A population of less than 6 million people. why would the proponents of such law think that they can reduce such population? Why do you think that there should be any inclination for anybody to want to reduce an already reduced population?
You know, laws are influenced from many angles, many actors, many persuasions. You know, so sometimes it's somebody coming up with a proposal, you know, for something, and then engaging other people, and then creating more and more, you know, interest. We understand that another civil society group, some of the civil society group have been in support of this, proposal, and that's why initially the proposal was about 24 weeks, 6 months. What in the world would anybody, you know, be trying to pass a law that will kill children, you know, up to 6 months in their mother's womb? You know, and signs, there is signs that suggest that when the baby is 3 weeks old, they already can feed pig. There is signs that suggest that when the baby is 3 months old, 14 weeks, all the organs are already functional. They're already functional. There's science, you know, that is available, you know, on some of that. So why would anybody even be suggesting that we should be exterminating children, you know, up to 6 months? Where does that come from? Where does that come from?
Where does that come from?
Where does that come from? You know, it's real troubling. I think it's a concern for all Liberians. I think every Liberian should be concerned. You know, we should be concerned about the fact that we should not give license, you know, for children just to be, you know, killed on demand. Killed on demand. You know what David said? You know, as a pastor, I would say what David said in Psalm 139, verse 13, 14, 15, 16. You know, talking about being known by God in his mother's womb before he was even formed. Before he was formed, he said, God numbered his days. And if God numbered our days, and we believe that, then we know that life is formed, you know, at conception. Life is formed in the mother's womb. And should we destroy that life? Should we destroy that life? Destroy that life in the name of what? In what's name? In whose name? And for what purpose should we destroy that life? You know, so I think it's a welcome exercise. And I think it's bad news for Liberia. You know, bad news for Liberia. I think that Liberians, we should focus on, let's say we have these elections before us, my brother. And it should be a major concern for all Liberians at the moment. Trying to ensure that, you know, that the environment is peaceful, that, you know, the preparations are sturdy, that the elections can be free, fair, and transparent, and that after the elections, this country can continue to survive. And this should be right now the preoccupation of all Liberians. And you know, we have too many other problems. There's hunger, there's poverty, and why would not passing some bill on the hunger thing? Why would not passing some bill on the poverty thing? Why we, you know, look for, you know, extremities, you know, and you know, I don't think that the abortion issue should become an extreme issue, you know, for this country. And I think that it's just warranted. I think it's good time they're using the byway. Good time they're using the byway.
Good time.
Yes. Yeah.
Again, this is Smart News Liberia with a conversation with Bishop Kortu K. Bishop Brown is the immediate former president of the Liberia Council of Churches. Now you talked about if we drift a little bit from this induced abortion thing, which is bad news for Liberia according to you. If I borrow your words, you talked about wanting free, fair, and transparent elections.
Shouldn't we?
Do you foresee?
Shouldn't we?
Have you seen any trouble? Have you seen any fight?
No, if we guard against trouble, then we will not see trouble. If we work against trouble, then we will not see trouble.
Are you seeing signs of?
No, we need to work against trouble. We need to take the necessary steps that will help ensure that we have free, fair, and transparent elections. We need to take the necessary steps that will ensure that our elections are violence free. There's so much temptation all around, and listen, Of late, I've been very disappointed in the level of public discourse in Liberia, political discourse. For quite a while, you're seeing our political leaders, those who want to lead, they spend most of their time not addressing the issues. First and foremost, almost all of the political leaders of the political party have almost the same agenda. I think the difference in their strategy. They want to build roads, they want to fight hunger, they want to fight poverty, they want to send children to school. It's the same thing. So why aren't they spending their time talking about how they will address these issues? Why are they spending their time attacking one another? Most of what you hear, most time through mediums like you know, the radio, blah, blah, social media is even worse. People just spend their time attacking one another, saying bad things about, about one another.
And you think the attacks should stop?
Yesterday. It should stop yesterday. We should focus on an issues-based public discourse. Liberia should focus on an issue-based public discourse. This country is 176 years this week. It has a lot of homework to do. He hasn't done his homework. And yet we are, in this 21st century, we're running campaigns, we're seeking public offices, and we're spending all our time not addressing the issues confronting ordinary Liberians, but we're attacking one another. We're spending a huge amount of our time just intensely engaged in attacking one another. I think it's unfortunate. And I think that it's not a good sign, for going forward, preparing and conducting these elections, because when you become overly antagonistic towards one another, sometimes when the elections are over, it'll be difficult for us to come together, to pull together as a country. And I think it's a mistake. It's a mistake. I want to appeal to all our political leaders. Stop attacking one another. Address the issues. Address the issues. If you say you will create jobs, tell how you will create the jobs. Tell how you will create the jobs. If you say you will fix the road, tell us how you will fix the road. There are suggestions that, for example, when President Tuckman was president, to pay 1 mile road for $50,000. Huh? When Bill became president, it was around $50,000. By the time Ellie was president, it's $1 million, which is the same, I think, in line with the current reality. For 1 mile. Now, if somebody says I will pay 200-mile road, where are you going to get our money from? Where are you going to get our money from? These are the issues that people should be, addressing. But sometimes the people make us to think that they just want the power, but they don't intend for it to be a tool for transformation. Because they're not spending their time addressing the issues. The majority of our political leaders, they need to spend the time addressing the issue. And I think it's time for ordinary Liberians to call them to question, challenge them. When somebody comes to you or rally and start to attack and Zion, tell them, okay, I heard about Zion. Tell me now what you would do and how you would do it. And that's where we are. And stop playing on ordinary people. Stop playing on the ordinary people. Stop all this politics of personal attack. This politics of bigotry, division, and hatred. It's not going to help the country. I don't see all of this. We had the coup. We had this on the 9. We had Nima Ray. We had November 12. We had Civil War. When is all of this going to start? And listen, and here's my biggest worry all the time. Over the last 40 years, most of the people now on the national platform, political platform, were not there. But they're still making the same for us. Why? Because we are still confronted by the same issues.
Okay.
Simple, plain and simple. We are still confronted by the same issues. Those issues haven't been addressed. So as a consequence, we will make the same power. We're making the same force. Let our political leaders. We want to encourage the national presidential debate. We want to encourage debates in the counties. We want to encourage debates in the district. Let the ordinary people have the time to question our aspirants, our candidates. Let them ask them how they intend to address the issue that confront them. And so here's a country where a young boy graduates from high school, a young girl. You got no office in Liberia, you can go and find a scholarship to go to college. What would that happen? Many years ago, you had a semblance of that, around here. Now, it's quite a while. Anybody graduating from high school, in many other countries, you were able to get up and go somewhere and apply for a scholarship. Excuse me. Nobody has to know you. Nobody has to know you. Your academic records will serve as your testimony for your eligibility, for that scholarship. So we have very serious issues here on our hands, and it looks like our political leaders are ignoring them. I want to call on President Weah. You people engage the issues. On Vice President Joe Parker, you engage the issues. And there's another comments. You engage the issues. They feel the leaders who sometimes when they start to speak, they try to want to engage the issues. But when you get dragged into all this conversation about personality, personal attacks, that sometimes you compare the straight to be able to also attack another person. But it's a waste of time. We tired with people fighting among themselves. We want to hear from people how they're going to address the challenges that we face.
With barely 3 months to general and presidential elections in Liberia, the constitutional body responsible to superintend national elections is the National Elections Commission. So far, how do you look at their performance?
Of recent, because it's one of the bodies that are close to family. Concerned about the Elections Commission, National Elections Commission, I'm concerned about their performance, I'm concerned about the level of energy and assertiveness, they're going to put into all of that. And of late, I cannot say that I have not been a little impressed with some of the efforts, but I can say that they still need to do more. They need to show more assertiveness. The whole candidate process, the candidate nomination process, the way it went and the ended, and the fact that they stood on their grounds that the deadline would not be extended. I thought it was good. I thought it was good that they stood on their grounds and that they insisted that if you didn't fall in line, you will fall out, which is a good personal signal that they're serious. They're serious about what they're doing. Over the next 3 months, through the grace of God, this country hangs on the National Elections Commission. Whether or not it will make a break, it will be the National Elections Commission. So every word from the National Elections Commission is critical. It's critical. It's a concern. So I think that Madam Director Brown, Lasana, my sister, I think that she should, and I think that they should every day remind themselves of the very big tax, the enormous tax has been placed upon them in this hour, and pray each day that God will help them to be able to live up to the expectation of all their Liberians.
Yeah, finally, probably we didn't cover anything, but we want to re-emphasize something we covered.
I've been concerned about, for example, political commentation. Liberia is a small country, and some of the political commentation we've seen for many months now, especially via internet, where normally what happens, in the normal, a discussion certainly is, what is a debate or whatever, is that the moderator, brings up the issue, and there are two sides, and then the moderator, makes the thesis statement, and then the two sides are able to respond to, what to think about, what's happening, for example, say the abortion issue, then the public can decide But I'm getting more and more worried when I see partisan political moderation. For example, you have, for example, Smart News, for example, gun control. Every time you have these public debates, then you have a side. You are either a sedition or you are a unitary party, or you. Our politics hasn't been that way, and we're a small country. I have to commend the local radio stations. I think that the moderators are still largely non-partisan.
Now, local radio stations, you say community radio stations?
No, I'm talking about national radio stations. When you listen to the daily debates, the morning shows, the talk shows, people are still trying to be balanced. They're still in the middle. Largely in the middle, they are creating a platform where people can come and share ideas and speak to the issues based on their side. But this one about this partisan political competition and moderation, I think is concerning. I think that we want to appeal to all these, online, platforms. Please try to adjust, I'm not talking about the guests. I'm talking about the moderators. You're the one running the show, and you are leading a partisan line. You're going to contribute to the confusion in Liberia. You're leading a partisan line. You're supposed to set the table and let the parties debate the issues and let Liberian people decide. That's what we don't know what it is, and I think it's still a way to go. Then increasingly, our online platforms taking on major platforms taking on partisan posture and promoting setting a party instead of giving the parties the opportunity to speak for themselves. If a moderator wants to be a partisan, you can go into a party. But to be running a major platform and spend all the time trying to just defend one party, and I think it's a concern. I think it's something like that needs to be look at again. Can you run a platform and you belong to a party and still be balanced and still give other people the opportunity to share their views? That's what I'm talking about. And not try to make the platform, the national platform, look like it belongs to one party when there should be a platform for national debate. We're very concerned about that. And we're also concerned that every Liberian play their role to maintain the peace, to sustain the peace during this period. It is the responsibility of every Liberian. Each of us, all of us, it's on us, it behooves us to stand up for the peace. Don't throw stones. Politics is not about shedding blood. Politics is not about throwing critique. No. Politics is about the exchange of ideas. You got your current, the other man got his current, let the book current debate. Let them debate. When they debate, the people will decide who is the best person to lead, whether it's in the district or the country. But every Liberian, don't let yourself to be used to perpetrate violence. Is my appeal to all Liberians, from Cape Mount to Cape Palmas. Do not allow yourself to be used to perpetrate violence. Violence is not the way. Violence hasn't helped Liberia. Violence is taking us nowhere. And in this age and time, I think we should. So I thank you for coming, and I'm looking forward to us continuing this course. And I think this is good for our country, and we want to again appeal to our lawmakers. Please don't give our children license to kill our grandchildren. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Bishop Brown. It was good having you. Again, this is Smart News Liberia. We've been in conversation with the former president of the Liberia Council of Churches, the Bishop Kortu K. Brown. I've been here along with the publisher of the Smart News Liberia,